Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is At the Buzzer, and we're joined, as always, by Jack Tiernan, and once again by Ryan Flynn. Gentlemen, how you doing?
We're doing well, I think, as well as we can be.
Yeah, I mean, after the Celtics even up the series 1-1 with the Heat, I think we're doing great because they looked really excellent. Ryan, what are your first thoughts, first impressions coming off of this pretty impressive 25-point win?
So it was honestly kind of something I saw coming, but I didn't want to tell myself it would be coming.
Right.
I initially was under the impression that Marcus Smart wasn't going to be playing big minutes, which made
Mm-hmm.
me hesitant. Almost immediately, once the game started, I realized he was playing a lot. I kind of knew that was the direction it was going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was holding my breath just because of the last game. These playoffs in general have been incredibly unpredictable, not just for the Celtics, but across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I was extremely happy, but I'm still kind of hesitant. I'm thinking a little worried about next game. Um, if we win next game, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose the next. But then but I think we can still win in seven
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case.
Yeah, Jack, same question. What are your first impressions after this win?
I think, honestly, I think it goes to show how underrated our underrated players are, as in Marcus
Oh,
Smart and Al
absolutely.
Horford, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially Al. Marcus obviously came and showed out, and he was great. But Al, I was looking at some stats earlier. For example, he guarded Bam Adebayo on 17 possessions, allowed 0 points.
Mm-hmm.
Guarded PJ Tucker on 11 possessions, allowed 2 points. Guarded Jimmy Butler on 4 possessions, allowed 0 points. So every person he guarded when he was in the game, he allowed 2 points on a total of 32 possessions. So like that's the kind of rim protection the interior defense guy, and he's not a bad perimeter guy either, but he's better obviously in the paint, especially paired with Rob. We were missing without Al. So him being able to come back from COVID protocols and play, I think, was the underrated exclamation point that we
No,
definitely needed.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Ryan, how did having obviously Defensive Player of the Year that's going to help a lot? How much did having Marcus Smart and Al Horford change the way the Celtics approached the game against the Heat?
Well, Marcus Smart adds strength in our perimeter on both ends. Obviously, especially the defensive end. We had a little missing without Derek White,
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing: you have Derek White on, you can kind of exploit him offensively at times, force him to shoot. Um, yeah, he just hasn't. He's always historically been an inconsistent offensive player,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of showing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then again with Pritchard, great offensive plug, but the first game he had this weird thing like with him and Hero, where it's like two white guards that don't really defend. I was like kind of like, is this like the starting of like like a new
Rivalry.
it's like the new Magic Johnson, Larry Bird,
Yeah.
grade level D, C.
Yeah,
I mean, no, that's not fair. I mean, Tyler Hero is a star for sure. Too,
yeah,
you know,
Sixth Man of the Year, right?
6 Man of the year. I
Yeah.
mean, he actually was playing. I don't know if you noticed. He was when he in the first quarter. He was playing defense like more
Yeah.
than I've ever seen him play. Like,
Yes.
there's something going on there because I noticed that, and then he's playing defense, and of course, the first time he's like actually you see him playing that intense defense, the Celtics are just go off, There's
Right.
just nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other end, I was gonna say it was really interesting having Duncan Robinson come in because he's been out for a while, and I don't know if you noticed with him, he was playing very differently than he typically would. Like
Glad you said that. Yeah.
yeah, no, it was really interesting. Like he was running, he was doing a fade. He was, because they know he can hit deep from three. He was kind of using that as a decoy. He ran to the rim, which
Yeah.
hasn't necessarily been in his arsenal. He got like 5 rebounds, just playing like limited minutes. I mean, I think if that is the Duncan Robinson we're going to see in the future, we have a more well-rounded player and definitely like a very, very, very good bench player potentially. It's almost like the Heat personnel are like, all right, these two guys are just consistently getting exploited. We need to rework them.
Mm-hmm.
They did. I want to expand on that a little bit too
Yeah,
with
please
the
do.
Duncan Robinson thing. I think it actually was very reminiscent. Duncan Robinson game two was very reminiscent of, and this is almost rude to Duncan Robinson, but very reminiscent of Aaron Nesmith in game one because Aaron Nesmith kind of was the same type of like high energy guy, which like in that kind of two guard position where he'd sprint around. Neesmith obviously I think is better defensively just naturally, right? Like you saw him go up and make that block, which was sweet. Had a couple steals, deflected passes, whatnot. He was playing good minutes, but the three ball was inconsistent, and it's kind of similar those two guys because both of them were initially picked or drafted or signed to the team. In Robinson's case, he was undrafted, but because they could shoot the three, and now they've kind of had to adapt and play these other roles, which I thought was kind of interesting. The difference, obviously, is that Robinson was like a high caliber starter, and Neesmith hasn't ever gotten to that stage yet.
And I mean, Duncan Robinson has definitely established himself as like a
100%.
sharp, like a pretty dangerous sharpshooter. That if he's on, you got to watch him. Neesmith is by no means at that level. You know, like Duncan Robinson.
He was supposed to be.
Let's be honest. If people might not dislike this, he is a stronger 3-point shooter consistently than anyone on our team. Given all of our players have other things in their arsenal, I can't think of a Celtics player that as consistently is like a 3-point threat.
Mm-hmm.
Unless like
I would argue Peyton Pritchard, honestly.
I was
If
gonna
I had
say
to
Peyton,
pick one person.
Yeah, all right, that is fair. But Peyton's also coming off the bench. He's shooting a lot less.
I think D Rob is
we
now
haven't-
too, though, right?
Yeah, but Duncan started most of the season. I mean, we haven't really seen a Pritchard like. I guess we have to a degree, but like in that first
True.
playoff game, what was it? Duncan Robinson, high 20s, early 30s, just like pretty much all threes.
Yeah, I think it was 24 in the first playoff game against Atlanta, right?
I thought it was even more than that.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was like 27.
We'll have the fact check.
Yeah. But
He was good.
Fact check. On
No, I know.
no,
We need like an actual producer so I can. Be
I know.
I mean, I know
those
Duncan.
numbers.
I know he was in. I believe. Again, fact check. I believe he's in the top 10 3-point shooters this year, or in terms of 3 points made, and he shot at like either a clean 40 or right over it, which again is very good. So I was just saying, no one's as a, maybe Pritchard arguably, but no one's as an established of a consistent 3-point shooter on our team.
Established. That's very fair. Yeah, very fair point.
And well, that leads to like a good point. I think one of the big differences in this game where the Celtics were able to hit threes at a they had 22 3-pointers yesterday. I mean, that's a good recipe to win when you're shooting like 50-ish% and you have like 22. What are the Heat gonna like? I've seen a lot of people overreact, probably because overreacting's like the way to go to get clicks and views, saying like, this series is over. Celtics are healthy. They're gonna. I don't think any of us feel that that's the case here. I think we said Celtics in 6 to begin with, and then Ryan, you said probably 7 coming in. What are the Heat gonna have to do to like adjust and slow the Celtics down coming up? I don't know. Either of you have a strong feeling? Want to hop in?
It's Jack, if you don't mind. I think it's just like it's tough because the Miami's also obviously known for having a very strong defense. Mm-hmm. But when you look at all of their players across the board, I would not say they're as strong defensively as Boston. Like there really isn't a weak link for us. The only weak link goes like to the 8th guy, Peyton Pritchard. Like
right.
And everyone else is so strong it really can as where Miami for sure has good defenders, but besides like Jimmy and Bam, and like when you put in their other really good defenders, it can at times take away from their strengths. Like you put in like a PJ Tucker, Victor Oladipo, they're not necessarily going to get you the production rate as opposed to where like we have Grant, guys who really can just put up big points on any given night. Marcus Smart from the playmaking standpoint. So I think that's going to be a big thing, is just figuring out how they can tighten up defensively while also honestly, I'm thinking Jimmy and Bam just really need to step. Like Jimmy obviously is doing phenomenal, but like it seems like I think to beat the Celtics, he would need to be like at that level where he was at the end of the 76er series. Where he's just dropping like 40 points, and like Bam, great player, and like there's no shame in it, but like he put up 9 points the past 2 games, I think, something like that.
Not good.
And like that's how he plays, and it's like you can't really knock him. He played great games. He had incredible blocks game 1, But again, it's like in those situations you need your star players to step up, even if he's not necessarily a scorer. that's not his primary motive. We know that he can easily put up 20, 24 points a game if he wants to. And again, I think, kind of working out their defense and, kind of tightening up so they don't have those weaknesses that can be exploited so that they can have, Tyler Harrow can potentially be huge. They just got to kind of unlock him. Again, if Duncan Robinson is looking the way he is, they could unlock him too, because those could be key guys off the bench to get those extra points. But what they really need, and everyone's always said this about Miami, is that they need that X factor, that star,
that guy.
And Jimmy very well can be that guy. I mean, he's an incredible player, and he's the weirdest player in the NBA to me, because I never see him being a top 5, and even I would hesitate to ever put him in a top 10. Okay. But he can beat pretty much any player on any given night, and you don't know. It's just really weird. And it's at the same time, you're not necessarily going to ever you're not going to always want him on first or second All NBA team, but he's absolutely a Hall of Famer in my book. Even though I think he's only played I think the last few seasons, he's the most games he plays 59.
Oh,
yeah. If you look, it's crazy. I think it's Minnesota. The most games he's played is 59 games.
That's crazy.
And he really loved Minnesota too. Yeah, definitely. That's he hated Minnesota, for reference.
No, yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that none of you can beat me or as good as me in practice. That was him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The Minnesota moment. Yeah, that was something.
Was it there? Was it there? Somewhere else. There's a story where he started getting benched more because apparently when he was put on the bench or wasn't being played as much, they told him he just looked so sulky that it was just really disgruntling and just didn't look like he cared to be part of the team. And he says now I didn't think I was being sulky. I wasn't trying to be sulky. And so he said that's why, if you notice, he carries himself very well now. He's very,
so true.
He's very positive about his teammates, very strong-minded, even, fiery for sure. But I guess that's the driving force behind it. He doesn't ever want, that to happen again.
Yep. So, no, it makes, and I think he's in a very good situation now in Miami with that team.
I mean, he found a home, absolutely. Yeah.
So Kyle Lowry, obviously, he has. Does he have a torn hamstring? He has a hamstring injury. I don't know.
Is that what it is?
What it is?
Yeah,
exactly,
I know it has something to hammy.
He's missed 6 of the 8 playoff games, last playoff games, something like that.
It's one of those muscular injuries. It's one of those muscular injuries where I don't know exactly what it is, but I do know it's one of those muscular injuries where you really just. Time is all that's going to take to recover it. You can't really just go back in a game.
Got it out, yeah.
With all he's just got to wait it out. And I mean, Kyle Lowry at the beginning of the season, he was running Miami when Bam and Jimmy were out. So it's not and I think people, if I say something Kyle Lowry just doesn't have it right now, people are kind of getting so it's no, he's injured.
He literally is useless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess based on all that, do we expect to see him in the series? How much of an impact do you guys think? And Jack, what are your thoughts? And then we'll go to Ryan.
Yeah, I think I mean, in fairness, is Kyle Lowry a better point guard than Gabe Vincent and Max Strus? 100%. So it's going to add a boost to them. I don't think Gabe Vincent's going to play like he did in Game 1 ever again the rest of the series. And if he does, good for him, honestly.
Right.
He'll probably make some good money somewhere. But doing that against the Celtics consistently is that's a staple for what will get him paid in the future. But basically, I think Kyle Lowry will be useful. He's kind of a pest on defense. I hate him, personally. I'm not a Kyle Lowry fan. My pecking order of point guards is most hated to least hated is going to start with 1, Pat Bev, and then 2 is Kyle Lowry, and then Kyrie Irving, which really is saying something. So, and then probably Ben
careful,
Simmons.
Jack. If Pat Bev hears this, he's going to go on first take.
He will, and he'll come after me, and then Kyrie will bitch about me on his
That'd be great,
on Twitch. Yeah, look, we'll take the hits. So
Absolutely.
I'll take one for the team. Let Pat Bev go on first take and ring me apart. But I'm don't love those guys, but Kyle Lowry is a good player. He's obviously aging. I don't know. Is he better defensively than I would say than Strus definitely, and I would say probably than Vincent even in his age. He has a great read on the court.
Okay.
I think he'll definitely add to their ability. I don't know if it's enough, frankly.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan, same thing. What are your thoughts? Do you think we'll see him? How effective he'll be if we do see him?
So I feel like with the current like culture and climate in the NBA, it's good to see like you don't really have as many guys like playing through painful injuries. You know, if someone's
Yeah.
injured, they're just gonna sit out and heal and take it right because these are, we just have so much more information, than we did like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's a number of reasons, but basically, I mean, I don't think Kyle Lowry will come back, but I mean, you can't ever rule out the possibility. If he does come back, well, I don't think he's necessarily going to be effective. Like what Jack was talking about, what he could bring to the table. So I think right now, he's not going to be able to do anything as effectively as Gabe Vincent. And also just being the kind of player Kyle Lowry is, he's probably going to occupy the ball more.
Yep.
And all of that stuff, which can honestly do some damage potentially, just because of
Good point.
how injured he is. But the one thing I think that he would have above those guys right now, as is his playmaking and ability to the IQ and great facilitator. Can open up shots for guys, but given his current lack of his previous athleticism due to the injury, I don't necessarily see that being a threat either. And I mean, I don't think Gabe Vincent. I mean, I think he's
Wasn't
doing
bad.
Fine. Yeah, he's fine.
He was good in game one, and I think for me that recency bias has like overlapped a little bit into game two. I don't remember what his stat line was, but I know it wasn't memorable enough.
No,
Did he? He had a couple threes.
He hit some shots. Like he had a couple plays that looked impressive. Yeah, but nothing.
14 points, 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, that's probably what you expect out of Lowry. That's a good point.
How many assists?
Pulling it up right now, 3. So
yeah, again, that's kind of what I'm saying with like the
that's what you expect. Yeah.
Yeah, the facilitating, like 14 points for a point guard is fine.
Fine.
But you want more assists. You want 6 or 7 at least.
He's not your number one scoring option.
But he's a backup point guard. That's what he
Right.
is.
Yeah.
He seems like he's proving to be a pretty adequate backup point guard to me.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Was there anything else you guys want to touch on in this one? I think we covered pretty thoroughly most of the storylines.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm sticking. I feel pretty good about Celtics in 6. I honestly I don't want to say Celtics in 5, but so I'm gonna stay with Celtics in 6. But I'm gonna leave it at that.
Jack's like, it's over. Miami's not gonna win another game.
Me and Stephen A are on the same
Yep.
page here. Yeah.
All right. Where can they find you online, Jack?
Best place to find me is on Twitter, and that's at Jack_Tiernan. Follow me there for tweeting through the NBA playoffs. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Jack Disc Golf for all of my disc golf forays. Looking forward to our eventual Wicked Good Sports disc golf outing, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, should be a good time. Ryan, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you can just look at the Wicked Good Sports blog. I'm hoping to soon. I'm gonna post probably a top 5 projected draft picks for the NBA.
Oh, sweet.
That would be great. Yeah. All right, so go follow Ryan there. That's www.wickedgoodeverythingsports.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. That's BMARR. Channel is on Twitter at WickedGoodSport or at WGEverything. Instagram WickedGoodEverything. Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedGoodEverything. And on TikTok, search Wicked Good Sports. Search Wicked Good Everything. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
And we'll see you all in the next one.